Good morning. Hi, hello. Okay, I have so much to talk about, but I'm gonna give it a second before everyone gets on, getting ready. This time change is really something I have to get used to. See, Arizona doesn't change, and then, obviously it's like hours ahead, but we're rolling with it. So I want to talk about the power of not settling, the power of your life and the posture of what you have to go through in order to be able to have the character, have the mindset to sustain, the actions to develop, the breakthroughs to steward. And so many of us, we have these expectations we put on our lives, myself included. We think that it should look this way. So then we make our actions align to how we think it should look. We start watering down, these visions that we have as far as like, oh, I wish I could do this. What if I could build this? What if I could make this happen? What if this is the thing that's for me? But because it's scary or because it's uncomfortable or because it's foreign to us, we get in our head and we think that we're not capable of it. We think that we're not called to do those things. And then from there, we start getting into our actions of unbelief. And what that is going to do, it's going to cause you to settle. It's going to cause you to choose the easy. It's going to cause you to avoid. It's going to cause you to blame. It's going to cause you to justify. And so many of us, God's given us like these huge assignments in our heart that we don't feel like we're qualified for. Like there's things in your heart that you haven't spoken out to people that you have like a vision towards that so many people need. And that's the thing about it is you're never going to feel qualified. You're never going to feel ready. You're never going to feel worthy. You're never going to feel capable until you start showing up for it. See, action breeds miracles. And when you're in action, it allows you to start taking the narrative of where you're staying stuck in, where you're settling in, where you're coasting in, and allows you to move different, to get different. One second, I need tea. Like, God doesn't want you to play small in your life. God doesn't want you to focus on everything that you can't control. See, don't worry when you're building something fresh, when you're building something that's God anointed, when you're building something that's been on your heart and you're finally doing it, it's not going to make sense to others. Your calling is not a conference call. It's not going to add up in the now. It's not going to look like it reflects that it's going to work. It's going to not make sense. It's going to be something that you have to truly lean into trust, lean into obedience, lean into stewardship. And that's where your vision is so important. So many of us, we don't have a vision for what we want to do in life. We just throw spaghetti on the wall and hoping that it sticks. And that's a beautiful way though, because failing forward is better than not trying. Failing forward is better than going and staying stuck in what ifs or will that person or this person or my upline or my side. Like staying stuck doesn't get you anywhere. Quitting doesn't solve anything. It keeps you exactly where you're at, where you're trying to change. So what would happen by you quitting like whatever you're trying to pursue? You end up exactly where you're at. See, it's not the thing that you're doing that's the problem. It's you that's the problem. And I don't mean that like, hey, you're a problem. I mean that your actions have to breed what you believe. And when you're believing the fear, the lies, the justifications, the self-sabotaging patterns, that's what's going to constantly act and show in your life. And so your reflection of what you think is always going to show. So whatever you're breeding in your life is always going to show within the results, the work ethic, the mindset, the habits, the patterns, the results that you're either getting or not getting. And it shows in your life by how you show up. See, it's a choice every single day to rise into my joy, to rise into my belief, to rise into how I show up. And every day is different. I am not saying that every single day I feel so put together and so ready to take on the world. Duh, it's not going to be, but it's a choice. And no matter what my circumstances are, they're not my destination. My circumstances are my launching pad. So if I'm going through hard seasons, which I am in different areas of my life, that doesn't mean I stop. That doesn't mean I settle. That doesn't mean I coast. That means I go into those seasons, those narratives, those circumstances with faith, with trust, with surrender, and I steward those things. See, you can't talk about, Megan said this recently, You can't talk about persevering and then not persevere. You can't talk about being a top leader or being a leader and then not show up. You can't talk about these things and then it's always going to show. Like your actions, your mindset, your belief, your patterns are always going to show up. And the thing about it is time is either going to expose you and promote you. You know, the fact that things are hard, the fact that things don't make sense, the fact that you're wanting more is the sign. So get to work. Your actions don't need to be confidently rooted. They don't need to be making sense either. They need to be you. And if we can tap more into our authenticity, more into our beliefs, more into our vision, more into our hope and our faith, the more you do that, the more you're going to see a magnet attract back to you, because whatever that's being fed, it's going to grow. And it's all into the word choices, the urgency. See, so many people don't get this part. It's not about consistency. You can be the most consistent person in the world or in the team or in your company or in your business or in corporate, whatever you're part of. Doesn't mean you're going to get promoted. See, the promotion happens from the stewardship of your energy and action and environment. See, people get promoted in a corporate America setting not because they're just good at what they do, but because they embody the personality, the energy, the excitement, the loyalty, the trust, the reliability that company needs, and that's who they promote. It's not just everyone that's good at the job, it's everyone that shows up in a next level energy of them. And see, that's not something you're going to see or feel or make sense in. That's something that you're going to have to experience through embodiment daily, and that's a daily choice. See, it doesn't make sense when I show up in this next level of me. It's uncomfortable. It makes me feel icky. It makes me feel foreign. It makes me feel like I'm not worthy, capable, called. That's supposed to happen because that is called self-sabotaging. So when you're experiencing self-sabotaging, that's the same path that you need to pursue. And those are the things that I've had to learn through this season, because this last year has probably been one of the hardest I've had mentally. But that's because there's a breakthrough coming. That's because there's a next level, like Brittany, a next level business, a next level income, a next level environment. All these things that I've been praying for, stewarding, thinking of, God's bringing to me. And see, when you can trust that God's always going to provide, that he's always going to elevate, that he's always going to show up, but it takes me doing my work, doing my actions, and having the right character to do that. Because if I'm only running for money and I'm only showing up for income, I can't serve two gods. You can't be like, oh, God is going to bring my life, change my life, all these things, but I'm so focused on income. I'm so focused on money. It doesn't work like that. So your character has to develop. Your process of who you truly are has to develop. And as fast as you make that money, if you're in the same character, the fastest you'll lose it. There's so many things that you have to realize it takes you actually doing differently in. So if you wake up and you're like negative Nancy or complaining or lazy or don't really do what you say you do, like self-development, things of this nature, it's going to show no matter what. And so the more that you can do these things, trust yourself, lean into yourself, and develop yourself, the more your business will grow. See, your business grows in the reflection of who you are. And the more you develop into that, the more you're going to see, no, don't be sorry, the more you're going to truly awaken the next level you. And that's the thing that it takes, is understanding, what does that next level you show up as? How does she lead? How does she serve? How does she talk? How does she walk into a room? How does she develop her character? How does she steward the hard times? Because when you're not when you're not taking that into consideration, those things will never produce fruit because you don't have that vision to connect to. So what are you fighting for? What would you do if you had no limits on yourself? What would you do if you could do anything you put your mind to? What would that be? And like, how would you show up? How would you talk? How would you dress? Sorry, I'm trying to fix my tripod. How would you embody the next level you? What does that mean to you? It's not about like manifestation, and it's not about that. It's about showing up authentically as you and doing the hard things. See, action is what's always going to breed results. You can't expect your business to grow if you're not growing yourself and you're not growing your business. And that doesn't mean just showing up on social media. Social media is not going to build your business. It's going to connect your business. It's going to help you find the right tribe, the right people, all those things. but it's not going to give you results unless you're doing the work to get results. So I just wanted to pour into you guys this morning because so many of it, I got a lot of questions over the last couple days, just like being with my team, all these things. And it's like one of those things that you cannot make people want change. You cannot make people do the work. You cannot make people have vision. You cannot make people stop sabotaging. You cannot make people show up for their future. You can only do that. And the more that you do that, the more that you see that confidence grow, the more you're going to see your business grow, your mindset grow, your habits grow, your bank account grow. It's a trickle effect. So happy Monday.